Hello princesses! Today I'm going to be talking about the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NW10. This is probably quite a weird review coming from me because I generally tend to focus on Asian cosmetics or things for yellow toned skin, whereas the NW10 is a shade for cool tone princesses. But since it's one of the stock standard crowd favourites for pale foundations, I thought that I would talk about it for you. The product description says, a modern foundation that combines a natural matte finish and a medium to full buildable coverage with broad spectrum UVA, UVB, SPF 15 PA++ protection. Applies, builds and blends easily and evenly. Comfortable and long wearing, it helps to minimize the appearance of pores and imperfections, giving skin a smoother, more flawless finish and look. This foundation comes housed in an elegant glass bottle with a screw top lid. You do need to purchase this pump separately, though I highly recommend grabbing one since it gets super messy without one. I have the shade NW10, which is strange for me since NW is the cool tone shade. I like to think of NW as not warm because it's super backwards. I generally have very warm yellow toned skin, though this shade works relatively well, and of course it does look slightly pink against my neck. The lightest shade in the warm tones is NC15 and it looks awfully tan against my neck, so I can't really win with the colours. This foundation does oxidize slightly on me and it does turn slightly peachy. I'm going to start applying this foundation with a cushion and then I'll switch to a brush for the other side of my face. This foundation claims to give medium to buildable coverage and I definitely agree with that. I applied this quite lightly using the cushion sponge, but it definitely can be built up using a denser brush or fingers. I find that this foundation does a really good job at covering up the redness in my cheeks and it mattifies my skin really nicely. I like that some of my freckles or sunspots are peeking through because I think that they look cute. I could definitely create fuller coverage with a second thin layer, but I don't really want to today. After about 6 hours of wear, this foundation is still looking pretty good. It isn't greasy, it isn't breaking up on my face at all, which is really nice. This foundation might actually be a holy grail for me if it was only NC10 rather than NW10. I'm wearing it today and it doesn't look that bad, like it's slightly peachy and pink, but it's not awful and I can get away with it. But it would be nice if it was perfect. So I love that this shade is a great pale shade even though it's slightly too pink for me. It applies easily, it's long wearing and it's oil controlling. It works well with most primers and it gives a really lovely medium coverage and builds very easily. I don't love that it is slightly too pink for my skin. So basically I love everything about this foundation other than the colour. I have tried NC15 but that one was quite tan against my neck and I know that I can sort of dilute the colour with a white foundation, but doing so also dilutes the effects that that foundation has on my skin. So it may not be as long wearing or as buildable in coverage if it is diluted by like almost a half basically with white. But this foundation is so easy to work with, it is really buildable, it is easy to apply with sponges, with brushes, with your fingers. It works well with the majority of primers and all of the setting powders that I've tried it with. It lasts all day and it makes my skin look really nice and even. This is a great foundation and I can really see why it is a cult favourite. I just wish that MAC would make it in NC10, but to be fair, they don't make any foundations in NC10 anyway, so it's a bit of a bummer for me. So I would recommend the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NW10 for any cool toned princesses that are looking for a really good all-round foundation. Thank you so much for watching this review and I'll see you next time.